What before we move on, because you obviously watch a lot of Bayern and have some Bayern connections. What do you make of Tuchel ball? Of
What,
this
what is
rather
Tuchel ball?
Tuchel ball for me is a rather passive setup. Bayern concede possession quite happily, and in an effort to create space, attack quite late. But if they then win the ball, then they have a lot of room to run forward, and it frees up the strikers, the forwards from a lot of defensive work. I mean, they have to go deep, but they don't have to do so much in pressing high up the pitch. And of course, the main benefit is that you have a lot of situations where they run at a back four and try to bypass the midfield. And we see a lot of situations where 3 or 4 Bayern players are running in the space that they themselves created. Is it a good setup for this Bayern team? Is it too passive for your liking? What's your overall take on this?
So my overall take is I watched a lot of Tuchel when he was a coach at Dortmund and when he was a
Very
coach
different.
there. Very different, totally different. There was like he was this little Pep perfectionist. I want to have 89% possession. I want to have everybody in the perfect position I put themselves in. So he had always the struggle where he wanted to be the not the decision maker, but the decisive point when it comes to win. So they played against Bayern, and out of a sudden there was a weird fullback against Ribery. Just because at the end of the game he could maybe, that was like kind of my understanding of it, can tell the people that he did it. He was the reason why they won the game. And then at Chelsea, I have to admit I didn't watch that much of Tuchel or of Tuchel's football. And now he has converted a little bit towards this. Okay, I don't care. I don't care if we have 80% possession, 60% possession, if we are, I don't know, controlling the midfield or not. I care if we are creating a lot of big chances. And I think this is where they improved the most. I still think they are finding the perfect Tuchel ball. I was impressed that you had such a narrowed down definition of what Tuchel ball might be or what Tuchel ball is at the moment, because I think they have sometimes they have half times which are terrible, which are like the opponent have more possession, they didn't create any chances. Tuchel is very upset. Now I think they're getting more into this. We want to create more space. I think the long balls, they are pretty nice, to be honest. I mean, Kane he's very smart in creating space for others. He's very smart in keeping the ball in their own possession. And he's not this. Lewandowski was different when he left Bayern. Lewandowski was just in the box waiting for balls to score a goal. He didn't care about if he had secured a lot of possessions or not. It was not his idea at the end. And Kane is interested in winning in overall. And this is where Tuchel, I think now, and this is why I'm a little hesitant in telling if this is Tuchel ball, because Kane arrived, and this is different than last year's Bayern, totally different. And now I think the games I watched, and I'm pretty much looking forward to next Saturday, where is it next Saturday? I think it's next Saturday. Yeah. Bayern against Dortmund against Bayern, because this is going to be a decisive match for Tuchel, not for BVB, but for Tuchel or for Bayern in general, because this is where they can prove that they are the better team or they are better than last year's Bayern. But in general, yeah, I'm still waiting for this. Okay, this is Bayern. This is Tuchel's Bayern. I haven't seen 3, 4, 5 consecutive matches where they had exactly not exactly, but kind of a similar approach to the game. They did, I don't know, they were 60, 70, 80% possession. They were, just a full package. Does it make sense? I'm sorry to be a little hesitant, but yeah.
But Jonas, isn't that what you're telling? You're talking about a very pragmatic coach who looks at what he has and then tries to make it fit. Isn't this story similar to what you were telling us about Edin Terzic in a way?
Yeah, but different, totally different, because this is Bayern Munich. What Thomas Tuchel did in the beginning in terms of his communication style was this is the material I have. I am not, if this not gonna work out, I am not responsible for doing it. This is what he was doing in the beginning, right? You remember all those press conferences? Oh, what a shame. The transfer period didn't end well. Now we have to work with that material. So he was defensive in his communication. So that's why this is different than Edin Terzic, because this is BVB. This is what they always, I mean, maybe that era with Tuchel was different, because they had an amazing team, they had amazing players, they had this great coach. Tuchel was an amazing coach at Dortmund. I think unfortunately, Pep Guardiola was on the other side, right? This is the only reason why they didn't want the national title. But BVB has to play like this. Bayern didn't. Bayern doesn't. Bayern is always, we are the best team, we have the best players. They still have by far the best team. By far. I mean, only look at the look at the top four: Sané, Coman, Musiala, and Kane, and we haven't mentioned Müller or Tell or who else is there. I mean, this is Gnabry. Yeah, I totally forgot Gnabry here. I mean, this is such an amazing team. There are no excuses. But in the beginning, it was like Tuchel wasn't sure. Okay, is this gonna work out? Is this what's gonna happen to Goretzka? What's gonna happen to Kimmich? I want to have a holding six. Yada yada yada. So this whole communication style was, okay, if this is not gonna end well, I'm not responsible. And even further back, when he started, he was like, I got a team who was so exhausted that it looked like they had 80 games played so far. And it was in October last year, right? Was it October or November? I don't know when he came exactly, but this was his communication style, was defensive. This is not usual for Bayern. But they had troubles last season, and they're gonna have troubles this season as well. That only